Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Hey, are you Brent Daniels? Say, I'm Brent Daniels.
I'm Brent Daniels.
TTP.
TTP.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Wholesale Hotline.
Yeah, boy!
Brent Daniels is a couple of minutes late, but you've got your boy Jamil Damji, the wholesale genie, on the market specialist. Man, you're so popular on Bigger Pockets. They had to make a whole other channel dedicated to you, bro.
I'm having a good time. You know what? It's fun because Bigger Pockets has really embraced the Pace and Jamil vibe. We are speaking at Bigger Pockets convention.
Right? I think we're both writing a book, right?
We're both writing a Bigger Pockets book. They finally have brought wholesale into their realm. You know, wholesale was always kind of on the outside because there are a lot more buy and hold strategy, and wholesale is that gray area where people have been, you know, how do you do it and how do you do it ethically? And finally, we've been able to bridge that gap. And so Bigger Pockets has been an incredible journey for me. And you know, it's interesting how squatting up is the entire reason why I'm even on Bigger Pockets. For you guys that aren't aware, Pace did an incredible show on Bigger Pockets. What's the episode number? That's 156 or something? No, 550. Yeah. Anyways, guys, look it up. Pace did an incredible episode on Bigger Pockets. So good that they asked him, do you know anybody else as good as you or even a tenth of as good as you that would be a guest?
Actually, they said, do you know anybody that's 10 times better? And I was like, I know one guy 10 times better than me. His name's Blue Genie.
And that led to me getting an interview and an audition for the new show. And that's the definition of squatting up, guys. That's where you have an opportunity, and then the first thing that you do is you give that opportunity to your competitor and best friend.
That's right.
That's what's
you can
up.
only hold so many keys on your own. And so it's nice to be walking down the hallway of life and tap your shoulder and go, hey, man, I'm out of keys. I can't open this door right here. And you go, oh, no, I got that key. I can open that door for you. And you basically trade off, guys. I have double the amount of opportunities because of my collaboration with my brother, my competitor. Actually, it's probably more like 10 times the collaboration.
It's insane, dude.
And so what we love about this and why we start off the show this way is because you guys need to understand that this show has made millions and millions and millions of dollars for people just in the comments. People that are taking the time, jumping into the Facebook group, Wholesale Hotline Facebook group, squatting up together. You know what's funny? This is an interesting thing. It just happened literally 7 minutes before the show started. I haven't even had a chance to tell you.
Tell me about it.
We had so many people that go to this challenge of yours. Okay. There was somebody in my realm, not a student of mine, not a student of yours. They watched the direct to agent challenge, right? The super secret, super duper double agent challenge 2.0.
Right.
And they go, oh my gosh, this is possible for me. And when they heard Daniel Quijano, I think it was day 2.
He was the third day.
Day 3. This gentleman is a tenant living in a property in Atlanta, Georgia, and his landlord decides he's going to sell the property.
Wow.
So what does he do? He turns around, takes the exact pitch he hears on your challenge, pitches it to his landlord. Check this out. His landlord says, yeah, I would sell this on seller finance. And guess who's buying the deal?
You.
Me!
Oh! Wow! Get that bell down
Get
here
it down here.
Brent
Bada bing,
Daniels
bada
can
bing.
ring it because it's too high right now. Yeah!
That's way louder than what you guys think it is.
Did you know that there was a contest on Secret Agent Challenge where when we wrap, because I know it's good, and when you are not in Tacoma, Washington, 50 people from the challenge are going to converge in Phoenix. They're going to bring themselves here, and they're going to spend a day with you and I.
I saw that. I think I just saw an email actually come through. You have all 50 people's names?
I have all 50 people's names. Can I have 30 seconds to read these names out? And Emily's going to actually, you know what, Emily? Just put the names in the chat.
Hold on. Bro, give it some breath. You know what I'm saying? What else are we going to do? Let's take some time and announce your winners.
Okay.
Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll name the first 15.
Okay.
Then you name the next 15, and Brent will do the next 25 or whatever.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Okay. And how many can Corbin read out?
Corbin she doesn't even know how old she is, bro. I'm embarrassed. We go to the grocery store. How old are you? I'm like, she doesn't know. Okay, Alexandria Harden.
Woo!
Mark Burdell.
Woo!
Charles Russell.
Get it, Charles.
Galay Sui.
Wee.
Daniel Fee. Michael Mucker.
What are they winning?
They're gonna hang out. We'll get into that in a second.
Love it.
Tyler Stutz. Samuel Heim. Bruce Williams. Damn, nobody's ever told a joke about Bruce Willis to that guy. Never. Zoreen Mitchell. Linda McKinney. Peter Hullinger. Wayne Agostini. Jared Bursamin. And Heather O'Hara.
Amazing. Well read. Continuing on that list, Joseph Wells, Colleen Pasalo, Colleen Pasalo, Brent Mathers, Samantha Navarro, Brian Carl,
Marshall Mathers,
Angel Febles, or Feebles, Justin Birch, not Justin Bieber, Justin Birch, Gabe Vigil, Andrew Strickland, Mita Sanyel, Bill Gallagher, Claudia Vasquez, Cindy Brunswiller.
Are these real names, by the way?
Yes.
Because they sound like almost celebrities, but not quite
Kevin
celebrities.
Gade. Kevin Bacon. Johnny Deps. No, I'm kidding. There's no Johnny Deps, guys. I'm back at Kevin Gade. Read from 30 on.
Yep. Here we go. We've got Terry Marlice. We've got Freddie Hardy. We've got Tony Davis. We've got Eric Kielak. We've got Melissa Garcia, Nate Jackson, Christopher Baber, Carl Bow, Mary Ann Olson, Sharon Wolf, Ernesto Matos, Wally Reyes, Adriana Garcia, Kelsey Franklin, Michelle Brando, Brianna Ziomek, Sal Vega, Jamal Khan, Jay Rainey, Rose Perry, and last but not least, Janet Washburn.
Yes. So what's going to happen? We're going to have an incredible 2 days for these guys. We're going to test out our new mastermind set up in the back of the office. And we're going to have a big meetup here. We're going to arrange a Phoenix meetup. So we're going to let all of the real estate investors that are local and anyone who wants to fly in converge for a meetup. They're going to spend a day with me. We're going to go eat chicken wings. They're going to come hang out at Keegley. They're going to talk to my act guys, my dispo guys, my intake guys, and just see what a day in the like looks like. And then the next day, we're going to hang out with you.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're just going to chill out. We're going to go
the problem is y'all got to wake up at 3 and go to bed at like 11.
I said, whatever it is that you do.
Really?
Yeah. So we got to wake up at 3 in the morning. I'm going to be there at 3 in the morning.
Bro, we're going to do some wicked stuff. Babe, what do you think?
Hell yeah.
Hey, guys, look who's in the studio. Do you have a camera on her? I do not. No camera on her? She's wearing a bikini, bro. Let's get a camera on this hottie. Michelle Russell, and get sandwiches with paste. Is that a thing? Is that a thing that I do? You know how there's like
you get sandwiches. He's got wings. You got sandwiches.
Here's the thing with Brent. Like
sushi. You're a sushi.
What do you guys think of when you think of Brent? Besides massive arms,
I think of protein powder.
Okay, I recently have been thinking of nuts, but previously
bananas.
Bananas. I think of bananas.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think of TTP.
Yes.
In fact, it's so crazy how often I say the word talk to people in my normal daily life.
Yeah.
It was the most genius marketing of all time. Everything
it's what
comes
we
down
do.
to
It's the whole
TTP.
business. Yeah.
If you remove TTP from any business, it fails.
Yeah. That's it.
You are the cornerstone.
That's it.
Guys, do you know what's crazy? Look at this. When you stand where Brent Daniels normally stands, there's an arm filter over here. Do you guys notice this? This is the real TTP. Okay.
It's looking good.
It's looking good.
Looking good.
Nobody ever laughs at my shit. It's all good. All right. So what are we going to do today, guys? We're going to answer some questions in the comments or what?
Oh, one of the 50, I'm going to pay their expenses to come.
Damn.
We should pick that person right now,
How
randomly.
do we pick it?
Randomly. Let's let Corbin pick it.
Okay. Corbin, come here, mama. Come here, little mama. I want you to see this little
Close your eyes.
See this little phone right here? There's a lot of names on it. I want you to pick one of those names.
Okay. Just
one?
pick a name.
Right there.
Yep.
There it
Brent
is.
Mathers.
Hey.
Brent Mathers.
Brent.
Congratulations, Brett.
Brent Mathers, you have won your expenses paid to come to Phoenix, Arizona. I will pay your plane ticket. I will buy your hotel. And you're going to come hang out with us for 2 days. That's what's up. Corbin picked you, so thank her.
Jamil said something to me that made my I squeezed my butt when he said it to me.
Yeah.
I clenched my butt.
Yeah.
He said the Fed is raising rates another 0.75%. That's a big hike, bro.
Big time.
What are you guys talking about on the market over there at Bigger Pockets? Is that a big worry?
It's a huge move by the
Okay.
Fed, right? But it's understandable considering that inflation, the CPI just came out again, and it's 8.9% for May, guys. So inflation is not being curbed, even though they have raised interest rates. America, people are still spending. We are still buying. We are still borrowing. It's not stopped anything. You know what's interesting? I still went out this weekend and tried to get a table at a restaurant.
Packed.
Impossible.
Packed.
Impossible.
Packed.
Packed. Everything is packed.
Everything's packed.
Everybody still has
There's
money.
jobs everywhere.
There's jobs everywhere.
There's
People have money.
This is a legit. I don't know if you guys have the answer to this, but
Yeah.
how is it that there's so many challenges with finding people to work? Like, how is it that everybody's like, there's a shortage? There's a shortage.
I think people are realizing they're their own business. They're their own business. That guy talks about it all the time, Navel, right there. And he talks about how he imagines there's going to be 9 billion businesses because you're going to get paid for what you want to do. Everybody can go online and get paid for whatever, for making logos or designing CRMs or, whatever people want to do on the side, sell some crypto or whatever it is. People can do jobs online
Are
now.
you talking about side hustles,
Yes.
or are you talking about
Side hustles that turn into the main hustle? I think that's what's happening.
Oh, it's already happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I see TTP everywhere I go, bro.
That's right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So what's this guy talking about? The Almanac of Navel. What's this book you're talking about? Because now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, and I texted you a couple quotes from that, the squat up quote, which I thought was fantastic. Okay. If you want to, go short distances, just focus on yourself. If you want to go long distances, you got to squat up, right? You got to be around the right people, of course. And he's just talking about how in today's economy, you can post the things that you do creatively. You can post just doing some work that you can do from home. You can do some sort of coding, or you can do any kind of thing on the computer and get paid for it. And the young people are going towards that, as opposed to, maybe working at McDonald's or working fast food or working at somewhere like that, where they're going to turn them into machine kiosks that you go to. They already are.
It's everywhere, dude.
But if everybody's working for themselves, then how are we going to buy shit? How are we going to get anything done? I mean, we are still social people that require cooperation. And if I am running a business, I'm still going to need people to come and work with me in my business, right? If everybody's an entrepreneur, when are we going to get anybody? Like, how will you get help?
Well, I don't think people will take that much risk. I think people will do it on the side if they can replace their income. We're talking about like starter jobs. We're not talking about real big baller, you know what I mean? Careers,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this is where I go mentally. Is like, if there's so many jobs that have not been fulfilled, how in the hell can we have an economic shutdown?
Right.
We can't.
It's like every company is hiring.
There's no chance of that, right? Everybody's hiring. Everybody's got money. We still
I think more people are going to what we do, the coaching, the mentorship, the specialized things that you're really interested in. There are people that are going to coach and teach you that.
Yeah.
And before, you just didn't have access to it unless you went to certain colleges or whatever else. Now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So you want to go out and make somebody just right here. Mel AZ made $100,000 deal. That's 6 figures.
Yeah.
That's double like. How long does that take the average American to make $100,000?
2 years.
2 years.
A year and a half.
Yes, Arthur, you're still in. So, Emily, can you please link up with Arthur and get that figured out? Thank you.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I think the majority of people are going to remain employees, but there's going to be certain jobs that will be eliminated. Like delivery drivers are going to go away.
Mhm.
That might be 10 years, right?
Mhm.
Technology
Mhm.
might take a while.
Some drones.
Some
Yeah.
drones, legit.
Mhm.
Right. I think you're going to have a lot of kiosks, way more kiosks. You already see it at Target.
Yep.
They have 4 or 5 kiosks and one person running all 4 or 5 of them. Walmart, same thing. They have a corral of 10. You haven't been to Walmart in a long
I
time.
went to the
right?
gas station. They have just a machine. You put your stuff on this platform. It scans it instantly, and you pay.
It's the same thing at
That's
the airport.
bananas.
Airport's the same
Yeah.
same thing. You go, it's like a trust thing with cameras, and then they beep you when you walk. I tried, guys. I tried to steal some oatmeal cookies. They didn't like it, and I had to go back and scan them in and buy them. But it's interesting that you don't have to have any employee now,
Right,
running any of that stuff.
No, you go grocery stores. None, bro. It is. We are walking into a world of automation, and the lowest level jobs will disappear.
Mhm.
Uber drivers,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
truck drivers.
Oh, truck drivers are in for a rude awakening at some point in the next 5 years for sure.
It is.
Let me ask you this though: are entrepreneurs born or are they created? Are they made? Honestly, have you thought about it? It's
a debate.
Like there's a lot of stress that you have to deal with, right? You have to have that threshold. You have to have something about you that wants to drive and do it yourself, right?
Okay, so let's use us 3 as examples.
Sure.
Born,
Yes.
born.
Sure.
I was born to dominate.
Right.
You were born to dominate. You were born to dominate.
Yeah.
Now, there were certain parts of you that had to be unveiled
Mhm.
and, really, really nourished to become who you are today. And you've got a long way to go.
Yep.
Right. You're 5% of your potential right now, bro.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
5%, maybe 4.
Yeah.
You got 96% more
That's
to
the
go.
best part. That's why being an entrepreneur is like the best. It's constant, never-ending improvement.
I've got this constant battle that I have
Yeah.
about this concept specifically.
Let's hear it. I want to
Yeah.
hear it.
Because here's the deal, right? I feel that yes, I was born with a tendency to do things that were outside the box. Like I was enterprising as a young kid.
Yeah.
I was selling things. I was trying to, sell candy. I was selling report cards for the kids who didn't do well. I got some report card paper and I made some fakies for the dummies in school.
Right.
Guys, don't do that. It was terrible. It blew up in my face. Anyways,
But it got you to where you're at.
yeah,
So,
I realized that
so
I
your advice is you should do it.
what I'm saying is that we are in that. Yes, I was that way. My sister was absolutely not. Okay. My sister was the kind of person that she had a job.
Yeah.
She enjoyed her job. She went to work, cashed her check. And then when I went into entrepreneurship, she followed suit, and she's an incredible entrepreneur.
She's a beast.
So I would say that there absolutely is an element of innate ability, but I don't believe that if you didn't have that innate ability that you can't grow into that you can't train yourself into that, right?
Yeah.
It's like Brent Daniels has a genetic predisposition to look like this, but with enough steroids, I can get there.
Sure.
Yeah. I agree
Right?
with that. Yeah.
That's what it is. So I think we can all, and steroids is training.
Mhm.
Steroids is supplements. Steroids is tools. Steroids is, and I'm saying the wrong word here, but you know what I mean,
Yeah.
right? It's just the analogy. We can get there. We can get there with the right tools, the right training, the right diet.
Well, what do you say to somebody that is working a full-time job, has worked full-time jobs their whole life? They're getting ready to get started in this business. We talk to them all the time.
Yeah.
I've been like gathering information. I've been looking at this. I've been watching all your stuff for 6 months, a year, 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Haven't really taken the action, but it's like that burning fire in their belly to, grow this business, to be an entrepreneur, but they've had their whole life where maybe they had more responsibilities early on. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like maybe they had, they had to take care of, parents that couldn't take care of them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or siblings or something else, you know what I mean? And so you naturally have to get, you have to pay for your responsibilities. You have to provide, but then it kind of gets you into that. You're in that mode. You need to make sure that money's coming in at all times.
Here's what my real belief is here.
Yeah.
I believe that 100% of human beings can be an entrepreneur.
Awesome.
The limitation is not put on you at birth. The limitations are put on you by your parents, your friends, your colleagues, your job, your environment, your church. I'm sorry, your political beliefs.
Yep.
Sure.
Everything around you puts the weight on your shoulders that actually drags you down.
Mhm.
And a lot of times you turn 18, you become an adult. You know what you end up having to do for the next 12 to 15 years is shed all the bullshit that you accumulated along the way.
That's
Sure.
what's up. Right
And
there.
that truly is it. It's not you learning how to be an entrepreneur necessarily. A lot of the people I see have problems came from their parents, past traumas,
Yep.
bad environment that they've been in, maybe a bad spouse or somebody abusive in their life, and they're trying to fight away from that. I know for me, what was instilled in me, I didn't grow up just desiring to work every single day.
Right.
My parents instilled that in me.
Got it.
Okay. I've talked about this ad nauseum. My parents, my dad, I love him so much, taught me how to love working. Okay. He would make a fun game out of it. My dad, Saturday morning, all right, jump in the truck. Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes the truck would start, sometimes it wouldn't. It was always an adventure. My dad would make it an adventure and he'd go, hey, what gas station are we going to go get potato wedges at today?
Right.
And he'd let me choose. Then when he needed to get a tool at Home Depot, he'd let me choose the brand of the tool and why, and he'd let me get involved. My dad taught me how to work very hard and love how to work very hard. However, my dad also taught me through all of that how to exchange my time for money.
That's it.
And so for my 20s, even though there was a burning desire in me, in my 20s, I had to find my way out of what I was taught.
Got it.
And so I actually believe that more people are hindered by the moment after they were born until they become an adult than any other time.
Brother, I honestly, I think that's the secret in life.
Mhm.
You are accumulating trauma. You are accumulating karma. You are accumulating survival. You are accumulating fears. And our job is to remove those. As you transcend, as you grow, as you evolve as a human being,
Oh, I love that.
you start to remove.
Yeah.
I'm removing this fear. I'm removing this limit. I'm removing this trauma. I'm removing this ideology or this completely illogical rule given to me by a religious institution or a political belief.
Yeah.
I'm removing this weight of dogma so that I can free myself to allow me to become the expression of all that I'm supposed to be.
Pull up Effie real fast. Just go up like 6 or 7 inches. Effie's up there. EFFI. She's an amazing woman who just joined my community a couple months ago. She, as you can tell, she's a little bit more experienced in age. She's Canadian.
Cool.
And she just got her first deal today. She is, I believe, I'm going to guess her age. She's probably in her 60s, 70s, and she is a sweetheart. And the biggest difference for her as an entrepreneur was getting around other entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And it started bringing that out of her.
Yeah.
Right. It started counterbalancing the crap that it was holding her back. Now getting around the right people counterbalanced and put her in a strong position. And within she also manifested on social media. I taught her how to post on Instagram.
Nice.
No joke. So she gets her first deal from Instagram.
I think you taught me how to post on this.
Yeah, that's right. So she posts on Instagram just a couple of weeks ago. I've been doing a social media series in my mentorship because, like you say all the time, you got to get loud.
Yeah.
So what does she do? She does an Instagram reel and she says, I'm calling on everybody in the community. I need to get a deal. And she had like 4 or 5 people send her a deal and she ended up doing one. She's buying a duplex as her first deal. So
Nice.
amazing.
Congratulations.
Let's ring that bell.
Let's ring that bell. Pace, ring that bell for her. Come on.
Seeing as how she's Canadian, did you guys know how Canadians greet each other?
Oh,
They
Sorry.
say hello.
Oh, I,
that's it?
I thought you
Yes.
said sorry.
sorry.
Yes.
Sorry for interrupting. Hello.
Sorry.
Oh
Sorry.
no! I walked right into that. Dang
Sorry.
it.
Sorry.
Sorry, Effie. Sorry.
That's great.
Sorry.
Congratulations, Effie. That is awesome.
It's so good.
That is awesome. So let me ask you this. So what about your kids? Right?
Mhm.
You know, you want them to see you. You're the example. You're doing this, right? But then there's part of me that's like, I would love for Bo to work with me.
Right.
But then he'd be an employee of me.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And is he able to express himself? You know what I mean? Because we think about these legacies and passing the torch and doing all this and that. But I don't know about you guys, but like, I feel pretty vibrant. I feel pretty young at this. I feel like I could do this a long time.
You
know
got
what I mean?
You got
I'm not gonna
another
pass
60
this,
years.
I'm not going to pass this torch off,
No.
you know, before the time.
Somebody's
So-
going to clone you and your DNA before that ever happens, just so you know.
The thing that I truly believe is that every human being has within them the seeds of their highest calling, the thing that they are here to do.
Mhm.
And not everybody is going to be here to buy and sell real estate. Not everybody
Right.
is going to be here to solve
True.
problems for homeowners and to
hold
do
on.
this, right? People are going to have their own reason to be alive, their own way that they're going to feed their families and become the best versions of themselves and make $220,000
Yeah.
for whatever it's worth. But that's the business, right? I think as long as we give our children a pathway to their honesty,
Yeah.
so that we can teach our children not to be afraid to be aware of themselves.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think that a legacy is as important as the freedom to be themselves.
And have
And-
self-esteem.
and yes.
I mean, how important is self-esteem?
Yes.
It's everything, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, building that in, they have to try hard things to get self-esteem, because once you do that, once you go through those changes, then all of a sudden, you know that you could do these things. That's why, like, we push everybody, go talk to somebody today, go find an ugly house, go talk to some, like, you're going to feel so amazing when you close a deal for $220,000, right?
Jeez.
When you close a deal for $2,000, right?
Incredible.
Bro.
I mean, let's ring the bell, Matt. There we go.
Well done.
Congratulations.
That's amazing. 220. Hey, can I get a loan for $220,000? I'm trying to fund a deal with Jamil right now.
There you go. Love
So
it.
how do you feel an economic, because you brought it up earlier,
Mhm.
0.75%, 0.75 basis point increase
Yeah.
from the Fed? How does that affect us? We just closed in a bear market today in the stock market.
Yep.
Okay. The signs.
Crypto's down 20%
Uh,
today.
what is that?
Today.
So excuse me.
Crypto's down.
I don't
20
even know what it means.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Oh, sorry. What,
Because he can't log into his Bitcoin, guys, just so you know.
Bought it at 6K though.
I sure
Hey,
did.
you're still up, dog.
I'm still up.
Still barely up.
I'm still barely up. But again, right? The concept that we are all able to be here,
Yeah.
to do our best.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the recession? How do you not have fear? How do you stop yourself from freezing in your tracks because the world, the media, all the news, all the naysayers, all the boopy poopies, all the chicken littles
Yeah.
are saying that real estate is a bad place to be because we're walking into an economic downturn? What are your thoughts?
A couple of thoughts. Number one, real estate has never been a bad thing to get into.
Yeah.
Even look at the data, right? You're on the market on Bigger Pockets.
I am.
So you guys base a lot of your conversations based on cold,
Great
hard.
show, by the way.
It's
Thank you.
phenomenal.
Great show.
Thank you, guys.
And it's a lot of data. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
first and foremost, every single real estate year, even 2008, 2009, 2010, were there people making money in that market?
Huge.
You better believe it.
Huge.
Okay, so real estate is an amazing thing because we can make money in any market.
Correct.
Wholesale is an absolutely amazing thing because we don't need to spend money necessarily in any market to make money in
Correct.
any market.
We're not holding anything.
Where's
No.
the risk?
Now, I hate to, be that guy.
Yeah.
The creative finance guy.
Do it.
I'm very sorry.
Go for it.
I hate to be that guy. But when an interest rate goes up, it literally does not affect me
Right.
whatsoever.
You get excited.
That's cool. It's almost like we're not even playing the same game.
Right.
When people are like, oh, I've got this deal going on and the deal's gonna get destroyed. I'm like, oh, I'm locking in seller finance deals. I'm locking in subject to deals. I'm flying to Dallas this Friday. I've already got it under contract, but I'm just going to meet my new staff at my new apartment complex that I just took over, seller finance with a 50-year note. Seller finance, 4%, no balloon, 50-year note.
Incredible.
How much are you getting into the deal for?
I'm getting into the deal for zero. He's seller financing the down payment over 6 months.
Wow.
$200,000.
Wow.
Gangster. This is a gangster right here. Okay. So the challenge is you put me in any market and I'm going to work deals out like this. Now, then this is the same seller I'm working another 300 unit deal with that I'm going to bring my boys in on. I'm going to bring a couple of other people in on. This seller's going to seller finance a down payment. So for me in creative finance, not only can I wholesale these deals, by the way, a couple of Flip Me students. Okay. Flip Me. I did a Flip Me Zoom last night and I helped 4 students get their first deal all collectively. It was wholesaling a subject to deal. So this is the greatest thing ever. When you can wholesale in any market and foreclosures are up right now over 750%, 750%, you're going to be able to short sales are coming back, right? Like, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen with short sales, Laura? Can we hear Laura? Can we see her at all? Or can we hear her? No. Laura, my wife, is a gangster. She used to go and knock doors and tell people to get out of houses. You would negotiate short sales, right?
Yeah. Well, I called on the NOD list and then I set listing appointments.
Notice a default list.
Yeah. Notice a default list. I set appointments and I talk people into doing a short sale and then I negotiate it through closing.
So this is the interesting thing. The strategies don't change.
No.
The lists typically do.
That's it.
True.
You know what I'm saying? It's
and the numbers.
I'm not going after high equity right now. I'm going after foreclosures right now, or whatever it may be. So I think in a down market, Brent, here's the question. It's not whether we can make money or not.
No.
Wholesale, you can make money left, right, or center.
That's it.
Question is, what kind of list do I go? Let's say the market implodes tomorrow. We go down 30%. Is there a different set of lists we should go after?
So the interesting thing, the difference between now and 08 is 08 was it was all lifted off fake loans. It was all the banks were making a ton of money getting loans, selling those big as mortgage-backed securities. We all know
and
that, right?
a lot of the houses that were being built were vacant. There were vacant houses all over the country.
You could have a 550 credit score, not show any income, not show any bank accounts, not show any job history.
Damn, this sounds like creative finance.
No,
and you could own 4, 5, 6 houses, which is what people were doing.
Up to $1.5 million each.
Yes. So they were going in and they were like the reason why we had such trouble is that if you were buying a home and then buying a second home and you saw that there was escalation and appreciation in the prior, would you not then say, okay, this makes sense, I'm going to go buy 5 more? So what ended up happening is a lot of people who ended up getting blown up in that circumstance, they weren't just sitting on one house. They were sitting on 10 houses.
I lost 5. I'm one of those guys.
What were you doing with those 5? Were you guys living in one of them every day of the week? Like Monday,
I just bounce around. No, it was. I thought I was being a real estate investor, Pace. I thought I was building a portfolio. I was getting advice from people that have been in the industry for a long time, and they're like, "This is the perfect time to build your portfolio because they're giving away money's cheap right now. They're giving it away. There's these things called adjustable rate, where it's 1% for like 36 months, and then it starts adjusting and moving.
Especially in the market, the market changes, and all of a sudden your cash flow, your houses don't cash flow anymore.
No, nothing cash flow. And then people stop paying rent. Yeah. They just stopped paying rent. They weren't able to pay rent anymore because the whole economy got destroyed. I mean, everything got destroyed. And the reason I say that is because there was this big chunk of equity in all these houses.
Correct.
And it instantly got squished out of it, right?
So
like a jelly donut, and all the jelly's gone. So there was no equity in houses. So you literally had to do short sales to get equity in deals, or you had to buy them at the auction.
Right.
That's what you had to do. Now we're in a totally different market. Supply and demand. There's been a slowdown on construction. So there's more, and there's more people. So it's supply and demand. Interest rates are going up, but it's a healthy thing. It's a healthy thing. It's going to be fine.
So you're welcoming this change.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, but let me ask you this. I mean, does this affect you if you were to go out and get like real, just traditional bank financing? Would you go out and go lock them up in these rates?
Yes, I am doing that right now.
I'm doing that right now too.
So talk to me about it.
So I've got a deal in Fresno, 24 unit. We call it a Morby method. So my bank is bringing 70%, and then the seller is carrying the other 30%. So I'm getting into the deal for no money. Jamil and I are closing on
$12.5 million apartment building.
So we're securing $9 million, I believe, in financing at roughly 6%.
Okay.
It still cash flows.
Yeah.
Right. And multifamily is great because even when you have a portion of your tenants not pay the rent, guess what happens? You have the majority of your tenants continue to pay the rent.
Right.
Yep.
And it's affordable housing in a bad market. So let's say it does implode or things happen, so be it. We're fine. On single family homes, we stopped doing the BRRRR in January.
Sure.
All of our BRRRR deals got destroyed.
Yeah.
And so what's happening is sellers still in like the single family world, sellers have still not caught on to the softening. They're still high on this whole thing of like the last 2 years. My house is going to up 25% this year.
Yeah.
And so the houses are still expensive for buy and holders, right?
Yeah.
And the interest rates have now gotten expensive. And so it's killed a lot of the people doing the BRRRR strategy. So I think that's just temporary. I think that's going to be 5 or 6 months, and then sellers are going to start softening up, and you'll be able to negotiate some deals that make sense, and you can still cash flow.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm still buying deals with traditional financing. It's not exciting to me.
Right.
I don't love it.
Right.
You know what's interesting? On the Secret Agent Challenge, we actually started talking to agents about the turn. And
what are they noticing?
Bro, there were a lot of realtors that were like, yeah, it's here. Like my last call with Jeff Starr it was incredible because I did Sunday. It was me who was the guy I was a secret guest.
Oh, you were making calls?
I was making calls. I put my money, I put my mouth where my time was. And I said, guys, if I'm going to teach you guys how to do this, watch me go. This is how I built Keegley. So I got on the phone and I had a conversation with this agent, Jeff Starr. He has 2 properties on the market right now. And he's saying, I'm having a hard time. And I was flat out honest with him. I said, Jeff, how aware are your sellers of what we're walking into right now? Have you seen the market? He's like, Jamil, this is what I'm seeing. We had 6,000 houses on the market last month. Now we have 11. We have massive spikes in interest rate. Like, you realize if your sellers don't get a realistic offer and if they're not down to earth on what they're going to accept right now, the likelihood of them selling their property is going to be close to 0.
Yeah.
You know what his response was?
What?
Just give me an offer. Give me your number and I'll make it happen.
Wow.
So this,
Everything's
think
going
about
on
that.
sale.
Would any agent have said that 2 months ago?
No.
Yvonne Starkey. She's working on her first deal. I was going to go on a seller appointment for her yesterday, but we're getting our attorney involved with the seller's attorney in a good way, really good way. Yvonne says, if a house is being sold and has a reverse mortgage on it, can you do a creative deal on it? Meaning, can you take it over subject to? Because a reverse mortgage is an existing debt instrument that you, can take over subject to. Here's where it gets challenging. Reverse mortgages are structured in a very specific way. Their business model is loan to own, meaning I'm going to loan money to you, right? Reverse mortgage is very literal. It means we're going to create a note and we're going to pay you monthly so you have passive income.
I feel like the way that I explain it is they already sold the house.
Yeah,
I think so.
They've kind of already sold the house. So
they've already sold the house. They're just getting it in payments over time.
If somebody's still alive, then yes, you can do an agreement for sale, contract for deed, land contract, etc. So that
all 3?
Well, they're the same. They're the same thing.
Okay.
Just different states.
Got it.
It's called an executory contract. I don't want to get into the weeds too much, but Arizona's agreement for sale, Florida's land contract, Texas's contract for deed, etc. So it's the same exact thing. But in Arizona, she's in Arizona. I know that. Yvonne's an agent here. You can do an agreement for sale, so the deed doesn't transfer, and the mortgage company who issued the reverse mortgage doesn't see the transfer. The thing is, they are so aware. They're the only bank that actually is aware of what's going on with the deed. So I tell people, if the person has passed away, then don't do a subject to on a reverse mortgage. Just if you do a subject to on a reverse mortgage, don't.
I thought that, wouldn't they get the house if somebody passes away?
No. It actually gets inherited a lot of times. Like most of the time, it gets inherited.
The banks
stop. No, they stop. Right when they run out of their agreement, because a lot of this happens a lot of times. The bank says we're going to pay you for 10 years this much payment. They stop making that payment. These people sometimes go 3-4 years after the payments have stopped, and then they pass away for whatever reason. And when they pass away, the immediate inheritant or the person that's going to inherit the property gets a year of that property. Okay, so there's timelines. I know it's weird stuff.
That's weird.
Weird stuff that we run into.
Yeah.
So there's timelines associated with this that allow you to do things temporarily. So what I tell people is if there's meat on the bone, do a subject to, clean it up, flip it, sell it on the retail market.
Yep.
If not, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Get away from it.
Love it.
Stay away from reverse mortgages.
You are the first person that I've seen even have a single strategy for a reverse mortgage, bro. I have, in all of the years that I've been doing this, and I've done over 5,000 deals, I have run in the other direction on a reverse mortgage every single time. Every single time.
Every time.
I've never even had a single solution. You're the only person I've ever heard of even having one.
Yeah, I've probably done 25 reverse mortgage subject twos, but they've all been temporary. Like
Incredible.
6 to 12 month holds. We turn around and flip them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Say wow, Dad.
Wow, Dad.
Okay, so what are the stipulations for wholesaling foreclosures and short sales, do's and don'ts? So number one, I think this is really interesting. I get this DM all the time, probably a couple times a week. It is, can I wholesale a foreclosure house?
Right.
Do you ever get that question?
All the time.
Where, bro,
All
can
the
you
time.
tell me where that question's even coming from? Why are people questioning whether you can do that? Do they think that it's already been foreclosed?
You know as well as I do, our top video that we've done together is about foreclosures.
Yes.
Foreclosure is people's gateway drug to wholesaling.
It's like weed.
People are like, yes, they hit it, and they're like, oh wow, this is where people get these deals from. They must be people that are losing their house.
Yes.
They're beat up, and it's not the case. It is the case, but it's not, the case every time.
It's about
right?
10% of the time,
Right.
maybe 7% of the time. Yeah.
But foreclosure people understand what that is. They understand the stress there. That it clicks that, oh, somebody would sell at a discount because they're going to lose the house.
Whereas like a
as opposed
probate,
to a vacant house.
a vacant, maybe a divorce situation. People
or just
go,
a tired landlord.
well, yeah, but they inherited that property. They might not be, looking to sell, but a foreclosure, like you're saying, is obvious 100% of the time a sign of pain.
Right. They've got either financial distress. They could have that coupled with the condition of the property is in distress as well. So it's just a rough looking house. They can't pay for it. Maybe it's an emotional distress. Maybe they're going through something. Maybe it's an illness. Maybe it's a relationship that ended. Whatever else, they're not paying their bills. So if you don't pay your bills, they're going to take the house.
Right.
That's it. It's either the state is going to pull it if you don't pay your property taxes, or the bank's going to pull it if you don't pay your loan. Right. That's it.
Okay, so that's where this question comes from. Is people just want to make sure it's possible.
That's where it's coming from. And I think people. So just to answer your question, foreclosures, just make sure that they have equity.
Yeah.
Make sure they have equity. If they don't have equity, then you're going to have to do a short sale, and they're going to put in the stipulations that you can't sell that property for a minimum of 90 days if they accept the whatever price is on a short sale. So with short sales, yes, you can get deals, but it's more of a flip. You're going to have to buy it, own it, put insurance on it, put utilities on it, do the whole thing. Don't try to wholesale short sales.
No, guys.
Get them, Jamil. Like, really be loud, because
let me
people
tell
are going to try it.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. You try to wholesale a short sale, okay? You're going to go to jail.
Yep.
You want to know why? Because there's a thing called a short sale addendum. A short sale addendum will typically have within it a few stipulations, one of them being a deed restriction, the other one being the fact that you are not in contract to sell that property prior to you closing. The deed restriction bars you from reselling that property for an X number of days. Doing anything to circumvent that will be in violation of federal law, and you will be charged. You will be investigated, and you will be charged. I have an individual that I know very well in town who went to jail for 17 years.
There's a few of them, yeah.
A few of them for wholesaling short sales. So be so careful, guys. The FBI investigates it. They are not playing around. Do not mess around with that. Now, I think part of the question is also coming from the mechanics of wholesaling a pre-foreclosure or an REO. Guys, get it in your mind. They're not the same thing. A pre-foreclosure is completely owned by the homeowner still. All that you need is the financial institution's payoff information or the arrears information to get that deal reinstated and back in good standing. An REO is owned by the bank. An REO can be wholesaled, but
guys, an REO literally stands for real estate owned.
Yep.
Real estate owned. And REO means real estate owned, and it means specifically the bank owns the house. That means it's already been foreclosed on. Nobody bought it at the auction. Okay, there's a deal right now that one of our students just did in Texas. The deal got foreclosed on. They were actually able to pull it out of foreclosure because nobody else bought it, which was kind of cool.
Right.
So that's an REO, guys.
Yep.
REO means the bank has already taken possession of the property. They have the deed. So make sure you understand the difference. Also, before Jamil and Brent go on, there's a couple other things that you can do with foreclosures that don't have equity. Okay. We do this all the time.
Yeah.
Number one, loan modification.
Yep.
Okay, loan modification. So you can modify their loan and you can take the property over subject to, or if you can't get them to do a loan modification, a lot of times we will catch up the arrears with private money and take the property over subject to. Okay, so like I just bought a property in Atlanta. It was the exact same thing. Seller was $80,000 behind on arrears.
Yep.
Just did a loan modification, took it over subject to.
Love it.
Easy stuff.
Yep.
So what are the do's and don'ts of wholesaling a foreclosure? Jamil, you were already starting down that path.
Yeah, if you're in if
No, just hit it, bro.
Corbin,
if a foreclosure, no, let her stay.
Corbin, you have a brown man in your belly.
She's having a good time here. I'm having fun. If a property is bank owned, it's an REO. Okay, an REO means that it is owned by the bank, as you guys have all said. You can still wholesale that deal, but there's going to be some mechanics to it that are going to be difficult to run around. So you're going to have to understand it first and foremost. Very likely going to have to put 10% down as your EMD. Very likely that
who's that EMT to? Who is it? The REO?
It'll typically go to the bank's chosen title company.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
This is an REO.
Correct.
Not a foreclosure.
Not a pre-foreclosure, a foreclosed property.
The house
REO.
has already been sold. It hasn't been sold on the auction. The bank took it back from the auction.
Correct.
Because nobody bid high enough.
Correct.
Okay.
So it'll be a 10% down EMD. That 10% is typically non-refundable. The other part is you will not be allowed to assign that contract. So you're going to either need transactional funding, or you're going to need to do a simultaneous close with two different title companies where your B2C contract is closed by your A to B contract, where one title company sends the funds to another title company in order for it to close. It's highly complicated and it is hard. But it's doable.
Somebody just asked in the comments, what is arrears? Very important for you guys to understand what is arrears. Sorry, guys. If you guys have really basic questions, please do not feel fearful.
Hey, Corbin, show them your arrears.
Here's the arrears right here, guys. Here's the arrears. Arrears are back payments. So what happens is a seller goes into foreclosure, depending on the state, within 30 to 90 days of being late. So sometimes that's 1 month of payments, sometimes that's 3 months of payments, and then that ends up sending out something called an NOD, notice of default.
Yes.
Okay, the bank actually says, hey, warning, 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 you're 30 days, 60 days, 90 days late. All of those payments start getting late payments. And once it actually goes into the foreclosure process, that means the bank, a lot of people don't know this, but did you guys know that banks actually don't foreclose on your house? The banks have no business doing that.
Trustee.
They hire a trustee that's their entire business. In town, what's the biggest trustee's name that does this?
Tiffany and Bosco, probably.
Tiffany and Bosco. When you go to the waste management...
Which one do you think is a hard ass, Tiffany or Bosco?
Both.
Depends on if Tiffany's related to Karen.
They're a big attorney, yeah.
If Tiffany's related to Karen and they're sisters, Tiffany's Tiffany's somebody to watch out for. So what happens is when the bank hires the trustee to foreclose on that house, guess what immediately happens? Right out of the gate, the bank hires the trustee. There's an immediate $5,000 trustee fee. Tacked on to all of your late payments. So your arrears are not just your late payments. It's also your fees and the trustee fee and everything else associated. So anything that would be required to take that house and put it back in good standing, that dollar amount is called your arrears.
Funny because Tiffany and Bosco are the only auction house that we have here, right? Is there another trustee that you know of?
No.
Yeah,
So
they got some smaller ones. There's some title companies that do it.
Mm.
We bid a lot at auction back in the day. I mean, there's some smaller ones that are all over, but the county steps is usually Tiffany and Bosco.
interesting
big
how
ones.
I was gonna say I didn't find any competitors, but you just debunked that. So there
No, there's a
are
bunch.
But they're
competitors.
Yeah,
not
there's a bunch.
noticeable.
There's a
Right.
bunch. It
Very
depends on
small.
the bank. There's smaller banks, that'll hire different attorneys and whatnot. Some of them do it at the actual bank themselves and run it themselves. They have the option to do that. But most go third party because they don't want to deal with it. They don't
Guys,
have the processes for it.
I want to point out we have
Yeah.
746 people on across platforms. That's some on my YouTube, some on Paces, some on Brent's, on our Facebooks, all the places. But 36 of you guys have taken the time out to like or share. And we'd just like you to take a quick moment right now. We're not begging for likes. We are asking for them. And the reason for it is it's good for the algorithm. And we want other people to know about Wholesale Hotline.
I'm begging.
And so do you.
I'm begging. Please.
And thank you to everybody out there. Bring somebody else next week as well. If you're getting value, bring somebody else that you can that have a conversation after the show.
Will you highlight Jesse Kerr's question?
You got it, brother.
So last night on on Sunday service, guys, we had over 1,000 people show up to Sunday service last night, which was pretty amazing. I called a seller at 9:30 last night because money doesn't sleep. And the greatest closer of all time doesn't sleep.
9:30 Pacific?
The seller's time, 9:30.
Oh, okay.
So it was 7:30 my time.
Yeah, okay.
Oh no, okay. So it was 7:30 my time, 10:30 the seller's time. I'm an amazing human being. Interrupting people's Sunday night at 10:30. Got a contract sent over, which was great. We had a non-student of any of ours. He's just a young kid, doesn't have the money to join a mentorship, but he's in the community. People are helping him out. And he comes on there and goes, Pace, I've got a seller, got this situation. So Jesse is asking, Pace, what happened out of Jasper's seller results in him signing? Yes, everything's good. Jasper went over and worked with Tevin, who was my guest last night on the show, and Tevin is helping them get the deal out of foreclosure and all that kind of stuff.
What kind of deal is it?
It's a wholesale deal. A cash wholesale deal.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
He's all worried. It's interesting because he's got the house under contract for $7,000. He's already assigning it for 15.
Yeah.
And
where's this house?
I don't know. Definitely not in Phoenix. I can tell you. It's East Coast somewhere.
Okay.
Everything in East Coast is cheap.
Yeah.
Just
must be Sweet Home, Alabama.
Sweet. Yeah, probably. Definitely somewhere that they have a couple of stoplights. That's all they got in their town. Something like that. It's a one-horse town.
Okay.
Smaller town.
Oh,
so
Tacoma.
he goes, well, I'm wholesaling it for 15, but I got to double close it. And I go, double closing on a $15,000 deal?
Yeah.
Bro, that's going to cost you $2,500 to $3,500. It's
going to eat up all his profit.
It's going to eat up all your profit. So I said, here's a couple of solutions. Oh, it's Oklahoma. He said
Oklahoma. Get a Gator lender to hop on that.
He is. He's getting a Gator lender jumping on that. But I actually advised him. I said, look, this is a smart thing to do is tell your buyer, just pay me outside of escrow. Do you trust your buyer? I do that for people all the time. Instead of us doing a double close, I go, let me just have the contract direct. I'll close on it and I'll pay you your fee outside of escrow. Then that way we don't have to double close it. And there's none of that shenanigans, right? Yeah. There's no wholesaling going on.
Yeah.
And I think Oklahoma has laws now where you can't wholesale, right?
Yeah. Without a license.
Yeah. So he said, well, I don't know the buyer very well. I go, oh, all right. Well, I would get a Gator lender, a transactional lender to fund it right away. And then you're not going to have to spend so much money in fees. Or you can, anyway, there's a bunch of things that I told him to do. Don't double close at that small of a dollar amount because it's his first deal. I'm like, you got to make as much money as you possibly can.
What's the ARV on this thing?
It's like $50,000.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Does it need a lot of work?
Yeah.
Are you interested?
No, I'm just.
You're trying to get a buy and hold?
The numbers, 7,000 to 15,
you want me to call Jasper?
like $8,000 profit there. How much do you have to put into a house that you can get for $7,000? I mean, it has to go to like a turnkey rental.
You're going to turn
thing,
30.
Right?
You're going to spend $40,000. In these houses, they don't pencil to fix and flip.
Right.
They're 2% markets, right? So you're going to get into that house for $50K.
You got to sell.
And you're going to rent it for $1,000 a month, and you're going to get 2% on your money and
turnkey rental.
This is a great question. Pull up Maj's question here a little bit up. He says, is there ever a situation where the buyer didn't pay outside of escrow? So guys, this is not a normal strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not a normal strategy.
You need to know your buyer.
Here's the thing: is if I call Jamil or Brent and I go, "Hey, I've got this deal I want to assign you. Can you just pay me outside of escrow?" Do you think I'm going to worry about you guys paying me?
Nope.
No. But if it's a buyer on my email list, you think I'm going to trust them to pay me?
Depends on the level of relationship you have with them.
So, what in Oklahoma? What's a good strategy for you instead of a double close? What's another strategy?
Assign it.
No, that's a problem. You'd want
In Oklahoma, you can't.
Transactional funding.
If you have-
Transactional funding.
If
So
you
you'd
have a
have to double
license,
close it.
if you have a license, you can assign it.
That's a good one. So maybe get an agent involved. Pay
Right.
pay the agent $500 to get involved.
Just close it. Close the deal. Close the deal and sell it. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually,
You gotta
it
do it.
might be a
If he
smart
doesn't have a
move.
license, you have to do it.
It might be a smarter move for Jasper to get a transactional lender for like $8 or $9 grand, right? Close on the deal and then throw it on the freaking MLS after he closes on it. He'd probably get 25, 30 grand for this.
Go
thing.
to PCS, okay, and get your business credit. I've seen guys get $15,000 instantaneously from them. Go get your 15 racks, get a cash advance on that credit card, go buy that house for $7,000 and sell that thing.
Have you guys
come
ever,
on
have
now.
you guys ever gotten paid outside of escrow?
I've been paid outside of escrow
all
before.
the time. I wouldn't say all the time.
That would bug me if somebody wanted me to do that, because then I'd have to give them a W-9 and I got to file that and it's got to be all done. That's annoying.
The only person
that's why I just don't do it.
the person who always wanted to pay me outside of escrow was Voldemort.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Of course.
Always, because he never wanted me to see the HUDs. He didn't want me to see how much money he was making.
Mhm.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I do it a lot for my students, right? So somebody will sell me a deal and I'll buy the deal directly. Like my team will just get the contract direct.
Yeah.
And I do it so that my students can watch the process get done. They don't have to worry about the double close or transactional lending, especially if I'm buying the deal. And then we cut them a check outside of escrow. And I've got Tony Counts.
Yeah.
Tony Counts just handles all that kind of stuff for me, which is great. It's a little annoying, but here's an interesting thing. With the Gator Tribe.
Yeah.
Okay. The Gator Tribe's been going on for roughly 2 months. Do you know how much money PCS has gotten in credit lines?
Millions.
$4 million total in 60 days.
Yep.
$4 million in lines of credit.
I've got a ton of Gator lenders in Astro Flipping. I'm sure you got a ton of Gator lenders in TTP community, and they're adding such a utility to other students because they're always ready with earnest deposits. They're always ready to be a private money lender. In fact, brother, you in the Gator concept, what you created there was a lot of liquidity for people to do transactions. That was an incredible thing that you did. And all of you guys that have that credit line available right now, somebody reach out to that individual right now that's trying to close that deal and be the lender for them and help them get that deal done.
Is it hard to get the
No, it's not.
Stupid.
It's so easy.
But the economy's crashing.
Oh, well, here's a question right
Everything's
now.
falling apart, right?
Devin R.
But they're giving up $4 million in 60 days. You want to see proof? Guys, listen, remember, the news is sensational. It has to. It is scientifically proven, psychologically proven that negative things grab more attention than positive things.
Right. It's either
going to be some crazy pandemic or it's going to be some sort of war. It's going to be something financial. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, it grabs eyeballs when you could say that the sky is falling. Guys, look at this example.
Well, I saw a very popular influencer recently post about how a bunch of really strong real estate markets in the United States are overvalued by like 50, 60, 70%. And I saw that and
According to what?
Well, that was my next question is like, where's the evidence of this?
I know.
Right?
I told you where the evidence
compared
came
to
from.
gas prices.
I know exactly where he got it from, and it's just salacious.
It's salacious. It's fear mongering.
Yeah.
Devin R said, Jamil and crew, how will the upcoming recession affect wholesaling? The main thing that he can see is a loss of cash buyers. Actually, Devin, when the market crashed last time, that's all that was there were cash buyers, because I was playing in there. I was wholesaling when the market crashed. I was visible. I was here. I was buying. I was selling. And you want to know what there was a plethora of? Cash buyers. That's not the case.
My first flip I ever did, it was so funny, dude. It was 2009-ish that I did my first flip. Right? I had been flipping and doing construction work for other people prior to that. And I did my first flip. My wife and I did all the work ourselves. And because I was, a contractor background is easy for me. And we spent so much time, guys, 2 days.
Do you have a picture of yourself in this house?
I should.
You gotta
I have.
find it.
I have the photos, and my wife. It's East Plata Drive in Mesa.
Yeah,
I remember.
sure.
So my wife and I are working. I did an actual. Before TikTok was a thing, there was this other thing called Vine.
Vine.
I did a couple of Vines when I was doing this house. Anyway, we spent 2 days arguing over should we put blinds in the house?
Yeah.
Should we put grass in the backyard?
Sure.
And then when we list the property, before we could even get the photos up, we get a full price offer from who? Invitation Homes.
Yep.
Of course.
As the market is trending downward, by
Yeah.
the way. And I go, oh yeah, when do you guys want to come over and see the property? We don't want
have
to see it.
Yep.
I go, hold on, but I put these really nice blinds and this grass in the backyard that I spent $3,000 on. You don't want to even come see this shit?
Nope.
Nope. They couldn't care any freaking less. And still to this day, they still own that property. They've raised the rent 6 times since then. It's crazy. They overpaid for the property at the time. And I'm like, I walk out of that going, I made a killing. And they had a whole entire, do you guys know Danny Perkinson here local?
Yeah, well, he's
Yeah.
great.
His entire job at the time in 2009
Was finding houses for invitation.
and they were just shoving. He had files and files and files and files. They were just buying up everything they could in the crash. Everything.
They've tripled their net.
Invitation Homes
They've
ends up
tripled their
going.
worth.
They end up going
Trust
and doing
me.
an IPO to who? They end up
Blackstone.
Blackstone. They
Oh,
get
yeah.
gobbled up, and everybody that was associated with that time frame ended up getting millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
What do you
Crazy.
what do you have to say to this? Wake up. It's about to be a depression.
I would say, what channel are you watching? You're probably watching some YouTube channels that are trying to clickbait you into understanding the incorrect information. The correct information is no houses are vacant. People's income is strong. They're having a hard time even supplying the demand of what's freaking going on here.
Mhm.
What is going to be the black swan event that I'm missing? What is the thing that we're missing?
Matt, do you have the new construction graph real quick to put up?
And here's the other thing too: is you follow the builders, you follow
That's
the
it.
commercial, look at
Mhm.
the apartment complexes
Bro.
flying up like crazy.
I think you got to be careful about where your news source is, because if your news source is typically skewing one way or the other in the political climate, if what you're watching for news every 4 years becomes a commercial for a certain party, then everything that happens in between those 4 years from that news source is pushing the narrative of that political party. Don't get it twisted, guys. There's no neutral news out there.
I read this recently, why people are pushing so hard on negative news.
Yeah.
Okay, here's why. Because if negative news is spewed out and I'm wrong, it's a good thing.
It's great.
It's a great thing.
You're safe.
But if I say stuff like, here's the data, it's not crashing, and you're wrong,
and it crashes.
you're an asshole.
Right.
And so what happens is everybody leans, 99.9% of people. And
They
this
hedge
is
their bets.
even the people I subscribe to on YouTube, they go, the market's crashing. And then 30 minutes into the video, they go, but with all the data that's showing, it's not going to crash. So I'm still buying and this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're just trying to get YouTube clicks. So look at the data. Show me the data. Don't
Put it
just
up, Matt. Huh? Yeah. That right there. Right. Homes built in the U.S. by decade. Right there. Right at 2010 to 2020 or 2010 to 2000, the end of 2019. A tiny fraction of what is usually built.
Are these adjusted at all?
That's how many millions were built.
Guys, look at that. Okay, our population is spiking.
It's way higher
Than what it was
10 years ago.
10 years. And we were all locked in our houses for a year and a half.
And yeah.
What do you think happened in the year? What do you think happened when everyone was locked in their homes? We're going to have another baby boom.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, baby.
Good market, bad market, sideways market, upside down market. Do we still need to talk to people?
Yes.
Do we still need to go and have conversations and build
Yes.
a lead generation, conversion of those leads, and exit strategy? It does not change. Nothing changes about that. The only thing that changes where the list that you're going after, and you're going to have to actually have a real relationship with your cash buyers. Because if you
100%.
don't, If you don't, it's going to be you're going to just people are going to back out on deals that they can't commit to. They're going to try to get into this thing, and people that didn't set up sound business practices as cash buyers or as disposition houses, they're going to crumble and fall apart, and they're going to screw up a lot of people getting into this business because they're going to think that they've got a real buyer on their hook, and they don't, and that's what's going to rattle us a little bit. So just listen to this. We've seen this since 2004, 2003, right? 2003, 2004.
I've been
your
in
whole life.
Yeah, 2002. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Like you've seen all of these cycles, and I'm just telling you, you still have to talk to people. You still have to lead generate.
I was a contractor in 2008. Okay. When that whole entire thing happened, I was a contractor working for other people. And I remember working in houses, right? I was working for a builder here, local. His name's Rick. Okay. So I was working for Rick
Sanchez.
That would be great. I'm a pickle Rick. So I was working for Rick, and what I would do is I would work all day long as a framer, plumber, electrician, etc. I would work all day long, and then at nighttime I would have a side hustle for Rick, sweeping up job sites and making the job site clean for the next day.
Awesome.
And one of my plumber buddies comes up, Preston, comes driving up. It's like 7 o'clock at night, and I'm just listening to my Walkman and all that. It's back in the day when it's like CD players were still kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Did you have a Sony Sports CD player?
Actually, you know what it was? It was a freaking iPod Nano. It was one of those teeny little nanos, right?
Yeah, cool.
I was gangster. So he pulls up. He's like, "Hey man, just want to. It was good working with you the last couple of months. I'm out. I'm getting out of the trades." I go, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Walk out here. Let me show you something." And we walk out into the whole neighborhood. Right. This is a brand new neighborhood getting thrown up like crazy.
Yeah.
And he goes, "That house is mine. That house is mine. That house is mine. I'm making $300,000 on every single house." I'm like, "How is this even possible?" And he goes, I'm getting these loans with no income, nothing.
Yep.
And by the time they're done being built, they've gone up $300,000 in value.
Yeah.
And I see none of this going on at all.
Right.
Do you guys see any of this stuff going on
No.
right now?
No. Lending is so difficult. You saw what I went through to get a mortgage.
Took months.
Took months
And
and
you're
months
pretty-
and
you're a
months
pretty
and months. And
credible buyer.
I have an 850 credit score, bro. I have an insane income. And I still have to go through a ridiculous amount of rigmarole to get a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Paul Brown says, "I was in a bank prior to 2008. Please don't forget about how easy it was to get 100% and 10% debt without credentials to buy a house. The market is very different now." By the way, Dodd-Frank, guys, you ever heard of Dodd-freaking-Frank?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's things that protect borrowers where lenders now cannot take advantage and create these crappy products, right?
Yep.
So let's see here. Hold on a second. Paces. Paul, I had a freaking iPod Nano, dude. Like,
come on, what color?
It was the red. It was the Victory Red or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there was a lot. And the other thing that was happening back then is that they were giving teaser loans too. And they were manipulating the market. And people got so freaking greedy. I am seeing a little bit, very few, not a lot, but very few 40-year mortgages. I'm starting to see a little bit, just a little bit of ARMs. And I'm starting to see a little bit of stated income loans for high income producers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
But those types of products are always going to exist. They're always going to exist for high income earners, people that are like making $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. A normal traditional loan is not, like jumbo loans are still not big enough for these people.
No, I think the 40-year loan is going to be the way that the financial institutions address affordability.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's it. It was just like back in the day when you were buying a car.
Yeah.
Cars got more expensive, and cars used to only have 4-year loan terms on them.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden they started doing 5-year
7
terms.
year.
Then they started doing 6 and 7-year terms because cars got more expensive.
Yeah.
So all the bank is going to do is follow the exact same thing that they found on what they were able to do on automobiles, but now it's on an asset that appreciates instead of depreciates, so they're in even a better spot.
How about the price of college?
Don't go to college.
The price of college has gone bananas.
Gosh.
It's absolutely incredible.
Ryan LaRue, shout out Ryan LaRue. Thank you for the TV show that you got us, Ryan LaRue. I don't know if you know the story.
He sure did.
You got us a TV show. You know how much money he made on that deal, by the way. So Ryan LaRue is the guy who sent me a deal, and he sent Jamil the deal at the same time. You jackass. But thank you. And he goes, "Hey, I can sell this house to you for $165." I go, "Done."
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I got another guy at 170. I go, why'd you sell it to me? Why'd you send it to me at 165?
Are you the 170?
I'll go to 175.
We were going back and
And
forth.
then he goes, hold on. I got this guy back at 180. So I send a text to Jamil. I go, dude, who's this dumbass that's obviously up in the night on his numbers and bidding me against Ryan LaRue? And he goes, that's me, bro. That's me. I'm like, let's just buy the deal together. Luckily, we bought the deal together. I went to close on that deal, and Ryan LaRue made how much money? Do you know?
40 grand, I think.
$60,000. $60,000. And this is what I said to Ryan.
You gotta be excited for him. That's
It was
good.
great.
Here's
Yeah,
what I
Happy for
said to him. I went to closing. I sat next to him as Carrie Persons, who was running the title in escrow. I sat next to him as he was signing, and I look over at the HUD, and I go, he goes, are you mad? I go, yeah, I'm mad. I'm mad you didn't make more money.
Yeah.
You should have made more money. You did a great job, man. Sell me another deal.
Yep.
And you know what's also awesome is that I posted in November when you and I were coming back from the Thrive event. I posted on my Instagram, I'll pay somebody $10,000 to refer an operations manager to me.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan LaRue found me the greatest operations manager I could ever ask for. He got another, I think we paid him 2 months ago, $10,000 freaking dollars.
Joanne, I wanna just say to you that I would love to address that it's not dirty at all.
What's
fact,
dirty?
The $60,000 assignment fee.
Oh,
It's incredible that we want to change our relationship with money. We want to change the way we view things. Ryan LaRue making $60,000 and bidding us up against each other. There was nothing wrong there, right? That was him taking care of business, doing his thing. Him making that money was absolutely what he deserved.
yes, agreed.
He was entitled to that money, and
She's saying dirty, like as in
Like awesome.
That's
Oh,
nasty.
I'm not hip,
like, that's
dude.
dirty.
Oh, that's fat.
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
that's fat is 20 years old, bro.
Oh, that's whack.
No, that's lit is like 3 years old.
Dang.
Yeah.
I
Now
don't-
people are saying that's dirty.
Now you gotta go
That's
get the
dirty.
bag.
Oh,
Yeah, you gotta
sorry.
get the
I'm
bag.
so old.
You mentioned something here, and it was something that Alex Ramosi had been talking about recently, and I think it's fantastic. He talks about 3 things that'll show you if somebody's going to be wealthy or somebody's
So
going to be
good.
rich. The first one is the way that they term their units of money, right?
Mm.
It's not I'm worried about $2 going up in gas. They don't give it, they're talking 20,000, 100,000. That's why we talk about on the show all the time, getting to the 50K club. Break your brain. Once you get a deal that's over $50,000 wired into your account and you're seeing that on your app, on your phone, your brain is broken. Now you're starting to think bigger. Everything's 10,000,
Yep.
everything's 20,000, everything's 50,000.
Yep.
But you know what I mean? When you start out, $2,000 is like a lot of money. You know what I mean? And then 5,000, then 10. So units of money is incredible.
Yeah, that's on to that point. He was talking about how he would hang out with people that would use the terminology stick
Right.
because
For $1 million.
they were so embarrassed to be around normal people and say, oh yeah, that's $10 million. He'd
Yeah.
say that's 10 sticks.
Right.
Or 15 sticks. So they came up with their own terminology, basically because the normal folk can't handle that shit. You ever been around people that just can't handle you talking about
Sure.
10 grand,
Yeah.
20 grand?
Yeah.
That's a really great point. What's the number 2?
Number 2, fast response to your business progression.
Mm.
Respond, be available, be go. You guys know in our hustle seasons, it was like 100 texts a day, 200 texts a day, going. Like respond quickly to business. Don't let things just slip through the cracks. That's huge. And then the third one is long-term vision. What are you building? I think that he's going through this right now, Alex Ramosi. He sold his company and he kind of regrets it because now he kind of twiddled his thumbs for a year and then he's like, what am I going to do type of thing.
Yeah.
So build something that takes a long time that you're very, very proud of. But just understand that you have to have the patience and a long-term vision.
Yeah, well, I've been lucky to be friends with Alex for the last year or so, and I've recently been bringing his wife into the mentorship
That's
to
right.
talk about mindset stuff. Has been really good. Introduced them to Jamil. They love and adore Jamil. And
Amazing people.
He said something also the other day that was really interesting. He said there's a direct measurement of successful people, and it has to do with that they'll never believe they're good enough.
Sure.
So the second that they achieve something, they immediately go, I'm still not good. Still not good. Like never satisfied, right? You might be temporarily amused, but you're never satisfied. You're always pushing for more.
I think that comes with curiosity, though.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean.
Agreed. Yeah,
like that learning and the curiosity, and you want to see if you can challenge yourself with something. You can change. You can get that punch to the gut that we all go through, and we're trying something new. Yeah,
I agree with that entirely. It's like it's not even about the money; it's about the game and the learning and expanding your mind is addicting.
Well, it's building skills.
Building
and skills stay
stacking
with
them
you.
up, stacking them up. People and the media are forcing us to worry about gas prices, even when I don't feel like worrying about it. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that she's saying that.
This is an interesting thing. So Dave Ramsey, okay, this is my one thing against Dave Ramsey. Okay, because his there's a couple of people made a post about Dave Ramsey today. He's like, well, this guy's net worth is $200 million, and you should.
Dave Ramsey says.
Yeah. But where does his net worth come from?
Did you just call him Whamsy?
Dave Whamsey.
So think about where his net worth comes from, okay? And I appreciate
like
it.
Daffy Duck.
Yeah, Dave Whamsey.
He's done such a great job in marketing, so you got to respect him.
Okay.
But what he's done is he's created products that keep people enslaved at a low dollar amount.
Yes.
401ks, all these kind of things that really, look, they do have their place in time, but he creates fear in people and keep them small. His goal for people is to retire with like $2 million. I'm telling you, in 30 years, you think $2 million is going to cut it?
I'd be curious to know what $2 million was 30 years ago. You know what I mean?
That's the thing to compare it against.
Is now compared to
20.
30 years ago.
30 years ago,
you know
$2 million would be 20 today.
Right. So here's the thing that gets me going about Dave Ramsey. He spends so much time teaching people how to save small incremental things of money instead of teaching people how to go out and make more money.
Right.
You'll never hear Dave Ramsey say, go pick up a side hustle, go pick up this, go start stacking skills, learn how to be an entrepreneur, take a little bit of risk, believe in yourself. You can do this. Mm-hmm. It's very much about stay at your job, stack your check, right? Get a promotion. He talks a lot about getting promotions.
Yeah. Kiss your boss's ass.
Kiss your boss's ass. And look, I get it. There's people that really, that's not our audience. So I get it. That's the general public. But he is so smart. He appeals to the lizard brain.
Yeah, sure.
That's it.
What's the lizard brain?
That is the part of you that is stuck in survival mode that's going to keep you alive. But understand that what we're doing here in entrepreneurship is the exact opposite. It's a risk. You are engaging another part of your consciousness. It's outside of that part. You are engaging choice. Yep. You get to choose to thrive. But you have to get past, you got to transcend that part of the brain. You have to transcend that fear-based part of our existence in order to get there. And it's a daily habit. It's a daily choice. Guys, I can wake up sometimes and I can be crippled with fear.
Sure.
Completely out of no reason. You know, you can just wake up and say, oh my God, like shit's going wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, this is wrong. 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 Meanwhile, I live one of the best lives.
Yeah.
But I could still trick myself into feeling fear. I can still trick myself into feeling like things are going wrong. Yep. I can still engage that part of the brain. I've got to make the conscious choice day to day to decide, where am I living from? Am I living from a belief that I'm limitless, that I'm always protected, and that everything that's happening to me is in my favor, regardless of whether or not I think it's good for me today?
Yeah. The challenge is with that is that you cannot break through to all the masses and try and get that lizard brain to be broken and reborn as let's go out and adopt a little bit of risk, right? And so Dave Ramsey has provided a tremendous amount of benefit to the people who are still stuck in that mindset. He has turned a lot of people, more than me. He's turned a lot more people into millionaires than me. But my goal is to turn people into multi-millionaires by adopting a little bit of debt, right? Going out and buying properties. Now, speaking of this, Pedro de la Torre says, does a 1031 exchange on the seller's part affect the wholesaler or the buyer? My immediate reaction to this is absolutely not. It does affect you if you're doing a creative finance, a seller carryback. You have to get an intermediary. A lot of people don't know this. This is gangster stuff. I just did this for Brandon Simmons and Rylas Dana. You can get a 1031 exchange intermediary involved, and you can turn a 1031 exchange into a 30-year carryback. So their payments that they receive can all be rolled into a 1031 exchange over 30 years. Whereas most people think a 1031 has to be
and happen right away.
it has 90 days.
Yeah.
Right. The total thing. That is not correct. If you get an intermediary involved, you can exchange over 30 years.
How often you do the most transactions? How often are you going with savvy sellers that are doing 1031 as part of their wholesale?
I'd say it happens 10 to 20 times a year.
Right.
For us, it's not
like most
often.
of the landlords that we deal with, they're like, these properties are destroyed. They're like, just get rid of this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it's not typically it's not the real savvy.
And also those guys that are 1031ing out, they're not typically selling at a discount.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
astute.
saying.
They understand what the hell they're doing. These guys, they're not, and their properties are in great shape. They're turnkey. They're not tired landlords. They're awake, savvy landlords.
Every time I get this text message from a TTP student, I say, listen, you need to give them a price right now and not waste your time.
Yeah.
Literally give them 66, 50, or 25% of Zillow, depending on the price point. Hit them with it and see what they say. If they're not even close, move on. Because typically they're savvy. And then they go, well, they have a package of 10 to 12 properties that they want a 1031 exchange. And I'm like, great. Give them an offer on their worst one. Find out what is their problem child. This is for everybody out there. Find the worst property that they have.
Greatest advice you'll ever freaking hear
worst
in your
property.
life.
Give them the offer on that one. Don't worry about any of the other ones. Just see if you can get their worst headache off their books, because that's going to be the biggest deal.
I've learned
to be the biggest deal.
I wish I could have taken this episode and played it to myself 7 years ago.
Sure.
Because what I did is I fought with sellers so long on portfolio deals, and I get students who are like, I got a portfolio deal. It's 700 houses, 40 houses, 30 houses. I'm like,
stop.
Great. Here's the way you do it.
Yeah.
You buy the worst house that they have.
That's it.
You tell them, let me perform on one house for you. Show me how I operate. So there's a lady named June here. She had 91 properties. We could not get her. Finally, I go, give me the worst one. We ended up buying 31 of her properties over the course of 3 years, all seller finance. Pretty cool. But you have to start with one.
Yep.
That was one success story out of probably 80 or 90 that I fought with.
Yep.
Ironically, I'm actually working with an Astro student right now, and we've already got a 12 single family portfolio under contract, 10% down, seller finance, 3% interest.
Nice.
It's very rare. It's very, very rare. Start with the problem child. Brent Daniels just gave you the greatest freaking advice ever. You run into a portfolio, go after the problem child. Show them that you can perform, then work on the next one.
Right.
Kaylin says, can you wholesale multifamily? If so, how could I structure cash flow in the deal instead of an assignment? So number one, Jamil, can I wholesale multifamily?
Yes. It's the same process as how you would wholesale a single family. You can do it by way of an assignment. You can do it by way of buying it, closing on it, and reselling it. You can typically, depending on what state you're in and what title company you choose, you might even be able to do a simultaneous close. You can absolutely do wholesale in multifamily. I've done it many times. In fact, we could do it on our deal right now, but it's just not going to happen because it's not lining up that way. So yeah, you can absolutely wholesale a multifamily deal. But what you want to do is you want to structure equity in the deal instead of an assignment fee. That's going to be a little bit more of an ask of your buyer, because again, you want cash flow. You want a portion of the deal as a wholesaler. That's you're asking to be a partner instead of a wholesaler.
A lot of times, too, you have to understand about multifamily. I've got a multifamily project that I don't plan on cash flowing at all for the first 2 years. What I'm doing is I'm improving the property and spending any money that comes in on improving unit by unit by unit by unit by unit. And multifamily investors, yes, do make a lot more money in cash flow once they're all improved and they raise the rents. But where most current multifamily investors are making their money is value adds.
Absolutely. Dude.
So what are they doing in a value add?
They're repositioning. They're spending money. They're forcing appreciation. They're renovating. They're raising rents. And guess what's happening at that time?
They're selling
cash outlay, cash outlay, cash outlay. So if you want to be a part of the deal, understand you're going to be coming out of pocket for the first 6 months or longer.
And make sure you know, like, and trust that investor, bro. Because
it's a partnership.
It's a partnership. And then you gotta. I mean, you're tied into that. If you decide to take the equity, but which by the way is a huge ask.
Yeah.
If anybody tried to do that on a deal that I was closing, it would be no.
I would laugh.
Cash.
I mean, I would just say I'm sorry.
I would honestly be like, bro, are you new to this?
Yeah.
Like this.
That's
is
not how it works.
What are you doing? Just like send it. Just get the cash and go. But you could try. I mean, I get where you're going and you want to build wealth. Just make sure that you're doing this full time. Make sure that you're rich. Make sure that you're building this thing up, making sure that you've got good income coming in so that you could actually, because if you go into this business full time because you have a big nest egg, you're going to find these deals all the time. You're going to find opportunities all the time. But if you are not taking that cash and you're keeping your job and your attention's not on this business, it's going to take you longer to build up your wealth.
Yeah. So I have a multifamily deal that I'm structuring right now that once I pay off the seller finance note, not the note, I'm sorry, the seller finance down payment. The seller is seller financing the down payment. The wholesaler who brought the deal to me will make $200,000.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, you and your team, right? You're doing a little bit more multifamily right now here locally. There's people are making grips of money on wholesaling multifamily.
Big time.
Yes. So the answer is yes. You can wholesale multifamily. Absolutely. Here's a better question. What can you not wholesale? You can wholesale creative finance. You can wholesale land, multifamily, commercial, hospitals. You can
banks. I wholesale the bank.
Jamil wholesale the bank. You
Churches.
can wholesale a church, a restaurant, single family homes. You can wholesale
Cemetery plots.
assisted living.
Yep.
Guys, there's literally nothing you cannot wholesale. You can wholesale anything.
Your mom?
I can.
Oh.
I've been waiting to give him one.
Damn it.
You got him.
He got me.
The last hour.
Damn it.
Last minutes.
He got me.
Got
good.
him so good.
I've been laying down some good ones on set the last couple of months.
Oh, is that it?
Oh yeah, I've been laying them down. It's been really, really good. I can't control the mouse anymore, Matt. Did you steal the mouse from me? Maybe. Him and I fight on it every once in a while. There it is. What the freak? Did you hide it from me? Because I didn't. Can you explain your take?
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. Can you explain your take on a contract canceling? So we got to unpackage this because I don't feel like it has enough context. I actually put this on the screen earlier, but I was like, there's not enough context. Brent, what do you think this means and what do you think he's asking?
Well, a couple different things. Number one, Eric, you want to do your absolute best to not cancel any contracts. That's the perfect gold star, perfect picture. You never cancel any deals. Now, there's going to be some deals where something sneaky happens, right? Maybe there's a foundation that you didn't realize needed a lot more work. Maybe there's, a ton of liens on the property. Yeah, there's no equity. Maybe you just locked it up and there's just not enough equity in there to make it happen. But I get it. In the beginning, when you're kind of figuring out, is this a deal or no deal and how big of a deal it is, sometimes you lock up deals that you think based on the comparables are going to work. But then when you put it in front of your buyers, they tell you, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to try to avoid canceling the contract at all costs. And just to put like a pin in this thing, do not go and lock up these deals at the highest offer because they're going to go with you and then beat up that seller later. You're going to make our whole industry look terrible. You know what? You don't do that whole bait and switch type thing. I am telling you, you're going to have the attorney general in your ass for real. Everybody that's done it here, this is exactly what's happened. The sellers really, really, really hate it. Okay. So make sure that you lock these up. And if it's a deal, it's a deal. We're deal finders, not deal creators. Don't use this as a leverage to go and lock up deals higher than everybody else just to get it under contract and beat them up later. It's gross.
It's the worst way to do business. Now, look, if you were misled or you weren't given correct information and then you get into the deal and you're like, wait, this whole house is crap. Like you said it was one thing and then it's another. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely within your right to ask for a credit. That's fine. But don't go in.
Yes.
Don't go in with the intent that I'm going to lock it up high and then I'm going to kick him in the kneecaps afterwards. That's unethical.
Yeah.
Your integrity will follow you. Your energy started negative from the beginning. Understand that. And that negative energy is going to follow you throughout the entire process of that deal. Mm-hmm. And will find its way to beat your ass later on down the road. Mm-hmm. So canceling a contract, it is a necessary part of the business. It happens.
Yep.
But do your best to mitigate how often.
Yeah.
And for why.
And do it early.
What I found with contracts, canceling at our title company,
Yeah.
there's two really big reasons why contracts cancel.
Yeah.
Okay. Outside of what you said, because those are major.
Got
like liens pop up that nobody knew about. You can't negotiate them, right? Seller can't do creative finance for whatever reason. But there's two main reasons I see people canceling contracts or contracts getting canceled. Number one,
They can't find a buyer.
can't find a buyer.
Mhm.
Okay. They didn't have a buyer up front. They didn't know how to find a buyer. They didn't have a Keegley. This happens all the time. And number two, they don't have a transaction coordinator.
That's it.
This happens so frequently. We see people that go open up 10 contracts. They will typically get 3 to 4 of them closed.
Mhm.
And there's a very, very clear determination, or not determination, but delineation between the two. You have somebody running the file, updating the buyer, the seller. And you might say, well, isn't that the title company's job? Yeah, it is. And I really wish they would do their job. But at the end of the day, I can't even find matcha tea latte at Starbucks. There's a dramatic understaffing in the market. You cannot get things done nowadays. It is so hard. And so a transaction coordinator coming into a transaction, helping update people along the way and keeping everybody on their toes so that things close on time is a major thing. That you guys have a full-time transaction coordinator?
We have
You
5.
have a full-time, you have 5. I have 1. You have
Well, he does 1,000 deals a month.
you have 1.
Yeah.
And I love her.
Absolutely. Jackie.
Jackie probably has the best personality for being
Yeah,
a
she's the
transaction.
best.
Oh my gosh, she's
the best.
amazing.
Yeah.
So transaction coordinating, guys, if you are a new wholesaler, make sure you offload that. You hire a transaction coordinator to run your file for you. What would you pay for a transaction coordinator to do everything right?
In a file?
Uh-huh.
$250.
I would
Per
never.
file?
I wouldn't pay that low.
5.
I'd pay $500 to $700.
Yeah.
To like
It depends. It depends on the,
If-
on the
if
type
they-
of transaction.
right. If they help out with the seller getting the contract,
Depends on how
opening
many deals
escrow,
you're doing
Yes.
too. He can pay him $250.
well,
because
his
they
people
do
are full.
1,000.
His
They're
people
all
are full
full-time.
time.
I don't pay them
I
for
know,
deals.
I
His
know.
people are full time. But for
Same with
me,
me.
here's the thing: is I've had transaction coordinators that will stop foreclosures, postpone things, do gangster stuff. I literally would pay $2,000 to a transaction
All right,
coordinator.
Jamil's got to get out of here.
We got to get out of
I
here.
gotta
We
get
love you guys.
Wholesale
Join us.
Hotline 122. Later, baby.
We
See ya.
out.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't see that thing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.